Hi, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's the Mosin Dude here. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at the P365 X Macro. Let's get into it. We'll get a little safety check for you guys. Clear out. Chamber is clear. Both magazines we're gonna be using today are clear. So we'll get back, load it up in the holster here, and we'll get into the video. All right guys, so looking at the X Macro here, just the firearm itself. We'll talk about the holster setup here that I run on my concealed carry in a minute. But talking about the 507 and the X Macro here, I've been enjoying the 507K X2. It's got the 3 different reticles. If you want to change the reticles, you can just hold the minus button and you can cycle through the different reticles. This will bring up the ring here, which is not focused, but then you can also put a ring and a dot. So if you're interested in having multi-reticle, red dot, I would recommend the 507, at least for the smaller footprint. This is not the RMR footprint. It's a little smaller than the RMR footprint. So if you run I believe a 407 and the Trijicon RMR, they're not going to fit on this. I believe you can get a plate that can adapt for it if you want to run those, but you have to get the adapter. It won't flush mount like the 507 here. The X Macro itself is a nice improvement to the XL, as you can run 17+1 as opposed to 12+1 that the XL does. I personally like the X Macro more than the XL as far as recoil mitigation. You do have this nice flamboyant comp up front, but the grip itself is what I think really makes the difference for me. Looking at the XL frame, I have a module here that you guys can look at, try to line them up best I can. You do get a little bit extra here in the front, as you can see that it's flush with the slide as opposed to an XL, which has the slide sticking out just a little bit. And you get a little bit here on the grip as well. Maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch on the grip, and then if you throw in the extra mag length there, they're not flush fit mags, which kind of sucks in my opinion. Compared to the XL, you can see it has the cutout, so it's flush fit. The X Macro doesn't have a flush fit mag, so you're adding about maybe an inch total when you have a mag seated in there. And then the grip is also just a little bit wider. I don't know if you can tell there, but I believe it's a 1/4 inch wider. The frame is the exact same, or excuse me, the slide's the exact same. So if you want to use the X Macro slide on an XL, you can. What I did right before the video, actually I took the grip module, drove this pin out, took the trigger and the slide off of my XL and put it back on my Macro for the video. I've been experimenting with my XL and the X Macro slide, just kind of shooting those and seeing how they perform. So the X Macro itself, honestly, has been rather pleasant to shoot just because it has that little wider grip and a little longer grip for me. And it also has these back straps that are interchangeable, kind of like Glock does. You can drive that pin out there, change out the back strap size, and run a bigger grip. I'm running the largest of the grip. I have rather big hands, so this fills up my hand pretty nicely. So with the adjustable back strap, the longer grip, wider grip, and the compensator, I personally think the X Macro is a lot more pleasant shooting firearm than the XL was itself. The only issue I have with the X Macro is the compensator itself. It is quite obnoxious for this small pistol. It does have the 365 like normal length barrel, which is I believe 3.25 inches, which the XL has a longer barrel. But as you can see, the short barrel in combination with that comp, the expanding gases are going to be going up and out the front as well. So there's less burn time for the powder itself in that shorter barrel, so that comp only accentuates the concussion and loud noise that this gun creates. So that would be my only issue with the X Macro as far as shootability goes. But compared to the XL itself, it's a lot more pleasant to shoot. So it's not like go out and buy an X Macro, sell your XL, get rid of the XL. It's horrible compared to the X Macro, but it is a lot pleasant, more pleasant, I should say, of a firearm to shoot. So if that's something you're considering, I would look into maybe potentially buying an X Macro and upgrading from the XL itself. Talking about the holster that I use is the X Macro holster from TRX Arms. It is the sidecar. I'll do a separate video on the sidecar holster itself. If you guys want me to go more in depth, I can compare it to the original sidecar, there's some noticeable differences, mainly that it's adjustable, or I guess flexible, but it's also modular. TRX Arms does something where you can take this sidecar off. You can put the Raptor claw on here and make it more of a Raptor instead of a sidecar. You can also have other attachments, but like I said, I'll go over that in another video if you guys are really that interested. But that's how I rock it with the sidecar holster from TRX Arms. Altogether for this setup, you're probably looking anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 depending on when you buy the items. I got the holster on sale, and I believe I got the Holosun on sale as well. But that's about what you're looking at. The firearm itself runs about $800 MSRP. Throw taxes in there, you're looking at about $850 to $900 depending on when you buy, where you buy from. And yeah, that's kind of about what you can expect. I forget what the Holosun ran. I think it's $200 to $250, somewhere in there. You can get a cheaper version that has just the red dot. As I talked about earlier, it has the 3 options. If you just get the single red dot, it is a lot cheaper. Save you a little bit of money anyways on the $1,200 piece. But that's kind of my thoughts. Shootability, like I said, I have about 400 to 500 rounds through this, maybe a little less, but shootability is a lot nicer than the XL in my opinion. I highly recommend this gun. If you guys are interested, you can check out other videos on YouTube. A lot of people go a little more in depth. This has kind of just been my impressions of the firearm after shooting a couple hundred rounds through it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's the Mosin Dude. As always, remember where you came from and to stay humble. We'll see you on the next video.